The economy has suffered a lot in last year and a half, and the future is very unpredictable. Many experts believe that precious metal market will have good times ahead. Rick Rule explained physical silver shortage and what's next for gold and silver. He said that if you look at the fact that Congress and the Fed are still pumping money into the economy and still keeping artificial interest rates artificially low, during the time where there is a shortage of jobs, where the market is wash in liquidity, and where the market is moving from hot to white hot, one wonders about the efficacy of these policies. In fact, that they could trade. They contain this inflation fairly quickly. If they decided to do that simply by letting interest rates rise, if interest rates found their normal and natural level, that you see the US 10-year rate, which is to say 200 basis points above the normal rate of inflation. If you had a 6% 10-year interest rate, you would likely have a 6.5 or 7% first mortgage rate. That would probably cool down the housing market a little bit. If they wanted affordable housing, they certainly get there. Of course, voters want the other person's house to be affordable, not theirs. So all of this comes into a political cost. It's just that when you look at the landscape, which has always looked confusing, it looks even more confusing. The thing that having liquidity is very prudent right now. In a circumstance where you don't understand the circumstance, you are wise to have a few because likely you are not alone. Any crisis in confidence that these valuation levels could have fairly profound consequences. Remember that the 2008 upset in retrospect was visible 18 months before it occurred, but not very many people saw it in a circumstance that came out of left field that created a crisis in confidence. But it certainly could happen. The data GDP ratio that's in stratospheric place, you can understand it because of artificial liquidity and record low interest rates. You lower the cost of capital and you stimulate demand in the current quarter. Earnings are increasing rapidly in the capitalized. Value of the dividends is extremely high. So you can explain away the level of equities prices. But that doesn't mean that they are normal or neutralized. Any crisis in confidence, and we don't have a great season confidence despite the fact. But any crisis in confidence that we might have would be very quickly manifested in a whole range of markets, including in the very near-term precious metals markets. Remember that liquid downturn take no prisoners. So the idea that one might have some cash that aside, so that one could buy one's favorite asset class on a 50% off sale is a very good alternative. Too many times people who believe in precious metals don't believe into anything else. The S&P 500 10 years from now will be markedly higher than it is today. Between here and there, we are coming into the part of a market. We are coming into the middle stages. We think of a gold bull market where traditionally silver catches a bit. The early parts of these markets are generally run by gold. In the later parts of the market, silver moves further and faster. For the next 90 days, gold outperforms silver. For the next 12 to 18 months, silver outperforms gold. The US dollar does keep its reserve currency status for several reasons, as many seasons has harbored in the US dollar. Or we haven't been as simple as any others that it caught that case. The dollar is an IOU, nothing while the euro is nothing. We have in the United States the deepest and most liquid securities market in the world. But we also have the math, the most transparent currency market in the world. The dollar is the best of a bad lot. But the US dollar will remain paramount, simply as a consequence of the lack of other competition and a currency that's tied to honesty. That is a currency that's tied to precious metals limits. The power that the politician enjoys, the idea that a politician would relinquish power, as important as the power of the currency, isn't something that you would see occasion to check on their death. They pay some lip services to strengthening their currency. They are very wise. By the time in Russia and China to increase their gold reserves, they would not do it with any intention of backing their currency, which reduces their power. They do it to free themselves from the yoke of the US dollar. In terms of international settlements, why would you allow your sworn enemy to be your exchequer? That's insane. Of course, it has to do with the more recent of malaise in precious metals equities price as a consequence of the malaise. and then the decline in the underlying precious metals price itself. That's either fairly close to being over. W have a very situation where the real interest rate is so starkly negative as it is today, that all of the conditions present are in place again, even with the rise in the US 10-year treasury from 60 basis points to 75 basis points. All the conditions precedent are in place for a renewed upward momentum in the precious metals prices, in the precious metals equities prices. It is certainly true that when we take silver out of good delivery in system, we reduce the silver available for delivery against future contracts. That part is certainly true. As per Rick, it's important to know though that the silver we take off out of the market doesn't come very often out of the good delivery silver. That's posted either at the LBNIM, where this is silver that could be contributed. It could be used as silver security future contracts very easily. It's in system. So we certainly do reduce the amount of silver inventory that is available for transfer into the LBMA for the CMA. So Rick concludes by saying that given how much silver we bought in the last year, but we have been the largest buyer of physical silver in the entire world. Certainly we have been the largest buyer of in-system silver in the world. Now please let me know your thoughts about Rick's views in the comment section below over all this silver scenario. And please share your silver position with me in the comment section if you would like to do so. And after that, please like this video, share it into your silver community and do subscribe to our channel for more such fascinating videos. Bye bye and take care.